Barcelona, which is a big reason as to why we're here
All
right now.
Yeah.
I'd probably say that's the best spot that I've personally ever been to. It's
Yes.
like my bread and butter, I just love it.
Yeah.
Do not work remote, I'm on a hybrid schedule, so
Okay.
Monday, Friday at home, and then the rest of the week, in office.
Nice.
What am I currently working on? Trying to live life and
Okay.
the way that I, want to,
Nice.
kinda sticking it to the man, so to speak.
Okay. Okay.
Um, Best travel advice that I have, be open-minded, that's
There we
probably
go.
the best I
Perfect.
have, yes.
Alright, thank you. Excellent.
My name is Claire. I'm originally from DC. But same as Chloe, just moved back from Barcelona.
Sure.
My favorite place I've traveled to would maybe be New Zealand.
Alright.
I work
Wait, have you been to Arrowtown?
I don't think so.
Okay, okay. I love that.
Only Northern Ireland.
Okay.
Yeah. But I've always wanted to go south.
Yeah.
And then I work completely fully remote. Currently working on, I love my job, so putting my passion into that.
Okay.
And then the best travel advice I've gotten and that I can give would be like finding comfort in the discomfort and stepping out of your comfort zone and saying yes to more things than no.
Nice. Very cool. Thank you. Yes.
Hey, so my name is Brian. I'm originally from New Hampshire and quite a few different places. My favorite place to travel to, I would really love to travel to Antarctica. Once while I have been advice and I've been to quite a few different places, but Antarctica is by far the best place. I would really love to go there. And right now, so what I'm working on, I'm currently working on my own platform. I've had a vision for it for quite a while, and right now I'm just going for it. And it's a platform for a specific industry, and right now we're branching out the company into trying to step to the gaming industry aside from the industry that we're going to. It's part of connecting the platform to so many different things as well.
Okay.
And so we branched out the company into a studio for the gaming and a design house for web and app development as well. So that should be worth it.
Nice. Alright. And what advice do you have for traveling?
Just travel. Just don't say no. Just see the world. Just see the world.
Okay.
Just see the world and just meet as much people as you can.
Good.
Just whoever comes your way, you never know.
Right.
Might as well be someone different and unique, open-minded.
Yeah.
So many minds out there to meet. So
Great. Thank you.
Yep.
Alright. Next.
Hey, I'm Burke. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. My favorite place I've traveled to was Tokyo. Amazing place.
Yeah.
I do work remote. I'm an actor and content creator, and I also sell life insurance and Medicare.
Okay.
And the best travel advice that I've got is to just do it and not think about it.
Okay. Alright. Good. Alright. Next.
My name's Kyle. Born and raised in Texas. I'm from Houston.
Okay. Alright.
Last summer I went to Japan and I stayed there for about a month and a half.
Alright.
And Kyoto was really cool.
Yes, it is.
I went to a lot of meetups there and
Okay.
made some friends and explored the city.
Alright.
So Kyoto has a lot to offer. I do work remote, but I currently work in customer support, so I'm trying to transition to, I guess, something with less of a rigid schedule.
Okay.
So currently I'm working on a portfolio for data analysis.
Okay.
And trying to transition into that field. And I've also just been exploring different job opportunities. Best travel advice, I just say, like, go to meetups, put yourself out there, go to events where you can meet people,
Right.
and just
So
try to be open.
I have a question for everybody. Have you ever thought about traveling somewhere and hosting your own event? I mean, isn't that like a great way to be like, hey, I'm new here, like, come join me and see what it's all about? Is there anybody know Travel with Kristen? So she is somebody who's lived everywhere, right? Like, she's been to all the countries around the world, the safe ones. And basically, she's not Taylor Swift, but she can literally land in any city and say, hey guys, I'm gonna meet up. If you want to come hang out with me, 400 people show up. It does not matter what city she goes to. Every time she does that, 400 people show up. And that's only because she's traveled to so many places, but she posts all the time on social media. And her job is to help people transition to this lifestyle, right? So if you wanted 30 minutes of her time, how much do you think you would pay for that? I don't think people realize how valuable the information is.
$200.
Is that true? Anybody else? Do I hear 300? Do I hear 400?
I'll go.
75.
75 for 30 minutes, okay. So 275 for 30 minutes, what do you got?
I don't even know who she is, so nothing yet.
Okay, nothing, okay. $600 for 30 minutes over time. Right? And she basically helps a lot of people transition to that stuff, because again, the fear that people have is, how will I make money? Right? How will I survive? And that's what she does, is she helps you sort of alleviate that. And just like what she says, I say the same thing through social media, right? Like, you need to have some presence. Even if you have 2,000 followers, that's still presence, right? So some nomad news that are going on. As always, Spain always tops the list of nomad visa rankings, just because they're so friendly with it, right? One of the hardest places to get a nomad visa right now is probably Japan, just because the threshold for everything is so high, right? But it's doable, right? You can get the nomad visa. Many people are wanting to go to Japan. But again, Spain has always been the heart for so many nomads, especially in the beginning, right? Taiwan is hosting a nomad festival right now, right? So that's going on. So they're putting on all kinds of events. In fact, Austin just had a running remote conference here in April, and that's everything this lifestyle is about, right? That was like April 27th, I believe. And basically, everyone in every company there caters to the nomad lifestyle, right? Health insurance, IT support, managing teams, all kinds of stuff, right? So we have a lot of those programs that come through here. Da Nang, Vietnam is emerging as a hotspot just because it's so cheap, and it still compares to Bali and Cambodia, Thailand region, right? So global nomad economic surges. There is a huge economic impact digital nomads have around the world, right? You may not see it because you may be traveling, but again, as people move into different regions around the world, they do have an impact, right? Many people go and they'll set up their own businesses there, right? I know many people who've gone, set up a business, and then they let other people there locally run it, and then go take off and go do something else, right? So, any questions on that? As you can see at the very bottom, you have other countries competing for nomad talent, because again, you have a lot of people who have master's degrees in education and experience, and they want to bring that to their region of the world. So, a little nomad humor. As a nomad, you have all kinds of problems in your life, and it just gets worse and worse every week. But it's fun, because you're always in a different place experiencing it, right? So, this is for the workbook. So if you want to scan this, this is going to be part of the class, and you'll be able to take this home and work on it. You will need to put this into your own account. It is an open document, but you cannot edit it. Right? So if you want to take it home, you can use it. I have take-home exercises, but you should not be asked to sign into it. If it is, that's something on your side, but it is an open document. So just save it real quick, and then you can edit it. Cool. All right, again, disclaimer, this is advice that I am providing. I've been doing this a long time, but again, everybody's different, so again, consult a professional. If you know you're traveling to different parts of the world that you need to know specific tax advice on. So this is basically your foundations for your legal, financial, and geographic freedom. What we're going to be covering tends to get a little technical. Again, if you want the slides, you can reach out, but hopefully this gives you a better sense of what that whole world is like. So this is sort of the outline of what true freedom kind of requires, right? You have the top part, which most people are familiar with, but the bottom part, which is the structure that supports you as you travel, that's the stuff that keeps you sane, right? That's the stuff that helps you sleep at night, because there's many people I know who've gone, traveled, taken off, and they start making money, and they're on a tourist visa, and they say, what's the harm in that? Nobody's gonna know, right? Oh, they'll know. They always know. Right? I've had so many people take this program, and one guy even argued with me one time, just like, but how will they actually know? Like, are they actually gonna like watch, like, do you really want to test that Do you really want to test it? Because many countries will literally jail you if you try to work on a tourist visa, and others will ban you, right? So, but your pre-departure architecture sort of looks like this. What to set up, what you need to have in place before you start traveling, banking system, payment systems, visa requirements, and talking to a good CPA and tax attorney, right? Because again, as you travel, anytime you make money in any country around the world, you accumulate little things called footprints, digital footprints, right? And if you start to hire people locally, that creates tax obligations, right? And that starts to tie you to those local economies, right? So we're going to cover 3 parts, which is working for a company remotely, working for yourself as a gig worker or freelancer, and then working for yourself as your own entrepreneur, right? So you can see all those perspectives. But this is how the framework kind of works all together. You need to know what kind of income are you making. Is a company paying you to be remote? Or are you working for another person as a freelancer, making that income in a remote place, but the company's still based in the US, right? So this is why it gets complicated. Knowing your tax exposure, right? And your visa and legal status. If you're there on a digital nomad visa, and you only know you have 183 days, you better make sure you're taken care of, right? That's why you need to have those systems in place. And then you build your money stack, right? You're going to need to have everything in order. When you go there, you need to have local accounts. Make sure you set that up. I will let you know, make sure to have a good tracking system so when you do your taxes here, it's all easy for your CPA to handle, right? And track everything. I don't care how small you think it is, track everything. And there's tools for that. So. And again, ask questions. Don't be afraid to raise your hands, say something, comment, because this covers a lot of stuff, right?
Chris, I don't want to interrupt, I just need to be somewhere else. I just wanted to pass by, so I see what you
Sure.
said about, was,
Yeah.
it's in you anyways again, and
Okay.
good meeting everyone.
Alright.
Yeah, have a good one. See you
Yeah.
next time.
So again, actions and risk. You're going to confirm your income source, and also make sure whatever state you're from, Texas does not have a state income requirement. But if you are from California, New York, they have sticky tax laws, right? That go with you everywhere, right? So unless you divorce yourself from those states, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, those taxes in those states will follow you, right? And then reviewing US tax obligations, right? So we're only 1 of 2 countries in the world that tax based on citizenship, right? If you were from the UK, you could go to Dubai and never pay taxes ever again, right? But unfortunately, US citizens are taxed anywhere, so. Yes, any questions on that? All right. So this is what your advisory matrix looks like, right? You're gonna need these kinds of people in your life. CPA, tax attorney, financial planner, insurance specialist. That running remote conference I told you about, there's a lot of people from the insurance industry that are there. If you know Safety Wing, they're like digital nomad insurance, right? So when you land in place, if you say, hey, I'm gonna be going to Portugal for like 3 months, they'll be, cool, great, we'll send you an itinerary, here's all your hospitals, here's all your pharmacies, here's everything. And they literally give you a map of where you're at, where everything else is at. Can you imagine if health insurance companies did that here in the US? Yeah, that would be amazing. So that's what I love about these companies is they basically, most of the people that run them have all been digital nomads themselves. So knowing what to file, knowing what to have on hand, and knowing what accounts to cover is very important as you're traveling. So. And your framework, right? Where is my income coming from and how long will I stay there, right? Because again, other countries have nomad visa requirements, which means that if you do come in on a nomad visa and you apply for residency, you can extend it. Some places have new laws where you can go up to 5 years, 10 years. And as you see, other countries are trying to get to 20 years, right? And the reason why is because they want your income and your knowledge that you bring to the community. Who knows about the program in Sicily where they pay you to come teach in their communities, right? That's the whole incentive, right? So, and then where will I sleep most nights, right? That's, again, another trigger. And what visas support what you're doing and what taxes are triggered as you're doing this. So I always have a little quiz. Which of the following is the first step in preparing for the nomad lifestyle? Which do you think it is?
Income type?
Yeah, that's my vote. B.
D? Anybody else? No? Anybody wanna do D? No? Alright, that's right. Alright, so moving on, taxes and legal basics, alright? The fun stuff, right? Alright, so this is something to understand. Again, citizenship means that you're taxed everywhere. So even if you spend 365 days abroad, you are still legally required to file a tax return. You may not owe anything, but you still have to file, right? And I know many nomads who are just like, but I've been out of the country too long, I don't need to file anymore, I'm good, right? It does not matter. Even if you made $0 that year as a nomad, you still have to file, right? And then you also have to file any bank accounts you've opened anywhere around the world, right? It's a nightmare, and you're wondering, why do people do this? But yes, always remember, even if you make nothing and you're dirt poor and you're homeless, still file. It's okay. So, the mechanics of international tax exposure is if you work for a US-based employer or client, and you're working in Spain, you have US tax obligations and then the local government depending on what you're doing, right? So if you just take a paycheck from the US company, but you don't hire anybody around you to work on your businesses, then your tax exposure is minimal, right? But if you start hiring people in the local community and you start doing other things, it gets tricky, right? And that's why I say you need to track everything you do. It doesn't matter how small you think it is, right? Even if you buy a cookie at a Starbucks, track everything, right? So, foreign income exclusion framework. This is important to know because this is what people keep bringing up. But I've been gone for so long, there's no reason I should be taxed, right? In fact, if you go out to the country for more than 330 days, you do get a tax credit, right? So it's sort of like an incentive to, hey, you go out, we reduce your tax obligations, right? So, but it's all based off of where are you, right? Your residency test, okay? So if you're in a country that has different requirements, then you need to understand you might follow path A. If you are in path B, then you need to realize, okay, probably gonna have to sit down with a tax attorney, figure out what's going on, right? That path B means you've probably been going around to different countries, right? Whereas path A might be, I've settled in Peru, this is where I'm at, I've been here for more than 330 days, so my tax obligations will be different, right? So. Oh, and the other thing is, you do need to apply for this. If you have been out of the country for so long, you do need to apply for this. It's not automatically activated. So that's at the very bottom part right there. So the hard boundaries of your shield. You have to look at it as a tool that helps you do certain things, and you have to be very careful about what it is you're doing. So if you, when you do apply for this, if you're gone for 330 days, then you know that, okay, this is what I'm going to be offered, this is what I still have to do. And as you can see right here, it does not fix state residency ties. So again, states like California, New York, Vermont, those are the ones you have to be careful about. So anybody here from any of those states? Great, that helps so much. Okay, perfect, because it gets very messy in those states. And then also be aware of any passive income. So if you have stocks, if you have capital gains, anything like that, real estate, be aware you will need to, monitor that stuff. Especially nomads who I've met who are real estate investors. They go out around the world, buy properties, investment properties, apartments, things like that. You've got to watch out for that stuff. So. And your calendar is your strongest defense, right? Like anything you do, always just keep track of everything, because when you file, it will show where were you on those dates and what's going on. So again, that goes back to tax residency, and then your visa will basically back that up, right? Hey, you were in January to, let's say March, I was in Portugal, and then from April to June, I was in, let's say, Bangkok, right? They will need to see that. So. Again, we have so many tools now for tracking this stuff that part shouldn't be hard. It just comes down to making sure that you do report it. And then this is the part right here. Again, this is probably the part where everybody asks, hey, can I get the slides? right? You don't need to memorize the form numbers. Again, a simple, hey ChatGPT, what forms do I need? But this is the basic forms you will need as a nomad, right? And this will basically trigger as you're living abroad. If you're under 330 days, a lot of these forms you will need, right? So yes, if you're an entrepreneur, expat, and then asset trackers. So, all right, quiz time. Simple, right? To qualify for this, how many days must you spend outside the U.S.?
330.
It's so easy.
So, all right, so we covered that part right there. Now we're going to get into basically gig work, freelance work, things like that. All right, so remote does not mean borderless. Working outside of the U.S. does trigger tax, legal, and employment penalties, right? So right here, as you can see, you have a gray zone. So you need to be careful with the IRS, the host country you're in, and then whatever employer rules you also follow, right? And then that right there is the remote safety work zone. If you can stay within that area and not trigger as many tax requirements or tax obligations, you should be okay, right? But depending on if you work with a CPA that uses QuickBooks or things like that, I would definitely say provide a cloud service thing where like every month you just upload all your like, hey, here's my record of expenses and things. Your CPA will check it, so when tax time comes around, you'll be good, right? So why your employer cares where you are? Well, one, because they need to know what kind of labor law issues you're going to run into, right? Payroll compliance. You may be living in a nice place and you think it's cool, but they need to be aware of all this stuff because they have to follow the rules that are there, right? And then insurance coverage. Just because you are part of a company, your basic benefits stop when you leave the country. So you need to also realize they might give you different types of insurance in that country, right? And then whatever countries you are allowed to work in, you need to be careful with the maximum duration, which is why your employer keeps track of everything you're doing, right? And written approval is mandatory every time you change countries, right? So as you're traveling, you may think, I'm a remote worker, I've been with this company for 30 years, it's cool. They need to know, right? So, and this is what your remote paycheck breakdown looks like. Sure. So it looks like a lot, right? But as you stay on the U.S. payroll for your stuff, your deductions, everything else, behave differently once you leave the U.S., right? So once you go outside the U.S. zone, your paycheck starts to look very different. And this is something you want to review with the CPA to know, like, hey, I'm going to be going into this country about 6 months. I want to know, like, what is this going to happen for me, right? Is there anything I need to know as an employer of this company? Domestic health insurance usually stops once you leave the U.S. border. Location restrictions are certain for certain benefits, which means you might have to have additional insurance once you leave. Talk to your company, and that's super important because, yeah, you kind of need it, you know? So. All right, and we've gone over this, the silent killer states, right? Which are the ones, and nobody here is part of it, but it's just good to know. If you have friends that are just like, hey, I grew up in California, I want to be a digital nomad, you better be like, hey, you need to sever ties with that state because they're going to take a lot of money from you. So, yes, and as you can see up there, if you don't formally sever ties with this, you will be paying those taxes forever. So, all right. Your visa architecture. So entering a host country. Again, tourist visa, it's cool, great. Those have been around forever. Allows short terms, usually 90 days or less, usually between 60 and 90 days. Digital nomad visas can go all the way up to 183 days, or depending on what country you're in, it can go up to 2 years or 3 years, right? But again, main point is your passport doesn't grant universal working rights. That's important to know. I've met many people like, I have a passport, I'm from the US, I'm cool, it's good. No, your visa determines that, right? Be careful, right? Second, yes.
Sorry, so if I want to go to Mexico for a month, do I need to do anything?
Are you on a tourist visa?
Yeah.
So.
If I just, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would not do that.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, don't do that. I know Mexico has a lot of digital nomads down there, but your
Even
tax
if it's
office,
not for a month?
even if it's for a month, but if you're making money and it's part of your company, then yes, you have to report that, right?
Well, obviously, yeah.
So that's what you have to be careful about, and because of what's going on now, like the requirements for your visa entering Mexico, they are now being heavily enforced, right? So the escalation of ties, as you keep spending more and more time in different places, guess what starts to happen? Your ties start to get deeper and deeper, right? So as a tourist and nomad, you have minimal economic ties, right? So you go in, let's say I'm gonna be down in Bogota, I'm gonna be there for 2 weeks, everything should be cool, right? I'm fine, and you decide like, hey, look, I need to hire some people to help me build my house, right? Be careful, right? Because if that's part of your business, and you know you're gonna be running a business there, that creates some tax obligations, right? Tax residency triggers. This is why I say the 183 rule, because at that point right there, you start to get in the gray zone of, do I start owing local taxes, state taxes, or country taxes of where you're at, right? And you don't want to have any surprises happen, because once that happens, your CPA might come back and be like, hey, we're gonna need these reports from this country, how do you follow those, right? And how your host country treats you as a local worker, triggering massive corporate tax risks for your employer as well. So, and also remember, even as a remote worker, this still will start to apply to you. Social Security and benefits abroad. So your still applies, right, for you, but your health insurance gaps start to show up, right? Because your benefits for health insurance stops at the border, so your company might give you something else to compensate. You still get your 401 contributions, but your location-based benefits start to get limited based on where you're going to be, right? And you also have to confirm your health and disability coverage, because you might be in a place where the company may give you a stipend to purchase nomad insurance, but it may not be enough to cover the full thing, right? So that's the conversation to talk to them about. Accessing your paycheck, right? Don't go with a bank that has a history of freezing things, right? If the bank you're going to be working with is here, and you know they have offices or locations where you're going to want to go to, talk to them, make sure they know, like, hey, I'm going to be out here for 6 months, I'm going to be over there for 7 months, so that way they're aware. Otherwise, it's happened before, and I'm sure you've heard the stories. People go out, they travel, and all of a sudden they didn't tell their bank, and they go and make a deposit or they make a withdrawal, it's frozen. Hey, we don't know what's going on, why did this show up, right? So now you're trying to call a US number to tell them like, hey, I'm traveling here, this is what's going on, I didn't know I needed to tell you this, it's a problem, right? So a lot of digital nomads use Wise or Revolut to help get around these kinds of issues, right? They'll connect them to their US bank accounts, and then they'll set those up so that way they can either manage their money through local ATMs or banks there, or a way to pay people or themselves. So, but yeah, always have a backup. And this is your ultimate departure, document. You sort of want to have everything taken care of before you start to get on that plane and fly out of the border, right? Written approval, state residencies are severed from the sticky states, and payroll and W-4 are reviewed by a CPA. Make sure your visa rules are followed, even if you're there for a month, and make sure you have international health insurance verified. Talk to your employer, hey, I want to go out here for 3 months, what am I going to get, right? And start tracking from day one. All right, quiz time. Which of the following is the most important to confirm with your employer before working abroad? Anybody else? Nobody's worried about vacation time? That's crazy. Wow, man. Oh, we're already in paradise. Sorry. All right, so now freelance gig work. Let's see what this life is like. All right, this is what everybody thinks we do as nomads. We're just on a beach drinking teas and Mai Tais. Stan gets into laptops. Don't do that. Okay. The reality is, this is what your world really is about, right? Income is taxable worldwide. Self-employment taxes still apply. Who can tell me how many times you have to apply for taxes as a digital nomad, as a freelancer? Anybody? Alright, well, that's good, we'll get to that. Okay, you must track everything, right? Systems matter. Get a really good cloud storage system you can put all your digital receipts in, and make sure your CPA has access. So, this is what a typical environment looks like for a digital nomad making money as a freelancer or a gig worker, right? So your gig platforms are your Upworks, your Fiverr. If you are selling things, making stuff, your marketplaces are going to be Etsy, Gumroad, Shopify, you know, things like that, right? For direct clients, you're probably going to have invoices, contracts, and all kinds of paperwork that you're going to be creating, okay? You want to treat every single one of these as distinct channels of making money. Do not ever cross them, right? So if you know that you do consulting work, have an entire folder just for consulting work, right? And keep track of all of that stuff. Because the IRS needs to know that. So. Alright, so lovely taxes as a self-employed freelance digital nomad. This is what it takes. And you have to make sure you are filing how many times? Quarterly. Right? So if you are not doing that, and then you apply on April 15th, they're like, what happened? I filed my taxes. And they're just like, yeah, but you're missing 3 other spots for the year. You don't want to deal with that.
Is this only if you're
Freelancer. Okay. Right, so as a gig worker or things like that, you want to make sure that you are keeping track of all that. And that's why I say, like, having that system in place is so important, because for self-employment, you will have to fill out those forms, right? So that's why, like, Schedule C and Schedule SE will be added onto your 1040. And what do we know about the shield? You have to apply for it. It's not automatic. Okay, so this goes back to our 4 parts. This is when you have to apply and pay your taxes. So every April, June, September, and January. Okay? Estimated taxes are not optional. Avoid penalties by paying on time, and use last year's tax as a baseline in which to start with. And then, as always, talk to your CPA about what things you can do to reduce your tax rates. But other than that, just sew it up. Have a good CPA that basically just automates this. That's why I say make sure they have a folder that sees all your stuff, so that way they can go in and be like, hey, I saw you did this. Can I clarify what category that goes in? So. And then structuring your borderless invoices for seamless payment. If you are doing consulting work, all your invoicing needs to have this, right? A header zone. It needs to be clear, it needs to be simple, and it needs to know if the name of your company, what happened, the date, time, and also currency. What currency it was traded in. And then the status at the very bottom. Was it paid, was it unpaid, and what is the current status, when will it be paid, right? And this will help you every quarterly to know, hey, right now I'm estimated to get this much from my clients, this is what's going to happen, so they know. Alrighty, this part is very, very important to know. If you don't use these already, please go set them up, right? They're very helpful. Even if you don't think you need a Stripe account, they do a lot of stuff. Who here has ever been to the Stripe conference that they put on? Okay, would anybody actually think going to a Stripe conference makes any sense? So what's crazy about the Stripe conference is that it has some of the most important financial banks in the entire world at that conference. Why? Because it's all about money that travels around the world, right? My friends have gone to that every year, and they say, as much as you think Stripe, why would I go to a Stripe conference? The people with massive amounts of wealth are at that conference, right? And they're doing some amazing things that are trying to basically knock out PayPal and all these others to be the payment supplier, right? So as a nomad, Wise is going to be great for global transfer fees that have low costs, right, and low friction. So, and it's best for dealing with direct international clients. You know, PayPal, we probably all have a PayPal account, right? It's as old as dust, and it has low friction. You know, and it's broad and it's client based, And you would think by now PayPal would have already superseded all this stuff, but Stripe has really taken over. And Stripe is great for subscriptions and recurring stuff, right? So if you have, let's say, a program that you run, and you know you have 100 people on your program, you're going to use Stripe to make sure they're paying their subscription dues, right? And then Payoneer is a platform payout system, so you may have a marketplace that you run, you're going to use Payoneer to probably deal with that. So, any questions on that? So this is the part right here that I know probably seems a little boring, but this is the stuff that saves you in the long run, right? If you have client agreements, they need to be so super clear that you're dealing in international waters where laws may not always protect you, right? You're going to probably assume as a U.S. citizen, but the U.S. laws help me here, don't they? No, right? And so you need to have a very clear scope of what the work is that's happening, right? Payment terms, late fees, everything needs to be clear as day in that document. And then revision limits. How many times do they get free revisions before they have to start paying again, right? Everything has to be laid out in that document. And then what currency are they paying in? Because again, you have to show all of these documents to the IRS. So. All right, so going back to what we just talked about. All those messy receipts that you get at the cafe, dealing with clients, documents, things like that, needs to be organized, put into a system, put the folders in, organize them, and then make sure to share them out with every single person you need to talk to. Your lawyer, your CPA, your tax attorney, insurance advisor, and things like that, right? If you're still wondering why do people do this, I still wonder that every day. It's a lot of work, right? And now that's why we have all kinds of AI tools. If you've ever heard of nomad-GPT, that is a real thing now, right? And many nomads use that to be like, hey, I'm in this country, what are my tax obligations? What do I need to do? Who do I need to talk to? And it basically helps you with all that, right? And your tipping points. Again, be careful as you start to trigger taxes in different places, right? And your tipping points happen the longer you stay, right? So some countries have they tax digital products and services, right? So if I go to Etsy and all I do is sell stickers all day long, right? And you're thinking it's just stickers, like who cares, right? No, it's you're making money, right? And even though your store may have been set up in the US and doing all these things, you're still in another country making money there, right? You're still collecting that income, you're still using that income, it still applies, right? And trust me, many people have tried to argue with the IRS, but it's a US company, like why am I paying here? I'm just, you know. And remember, local clients creates a local economic presence, which means that if you run a business there and you start hiring people and you start going out and doing things and people start paying you for this stuff, every time they give you that dollar, guess what? You're creating another digital footprint in that location. So again, this is your flywheel, right? Ironclad contracts. If you're not sure, who should you ask? AI, and then give it to a lawyer, right? Day tracking and location, right? We have so many tools for that now. Hey, I just got into Paraguay, this is what's going on. I need to track what's going for everything, right? Invoicing, payment rails, right? And then digital records. Even as simple, take a photo of a receipt, you can take that, upload it, it can organize it for you, all those things. And then estimated quarterly taxes. All right, choice 4. Let's see which one. Which payment platform is commonly used by freelancers for international transfers?
Wise.
Which one?
Was it Wise?
Anybody else? Wise? All right. Man, you're going to graduate to being a nomad soon.
So.
All right, Nomad Founders Blueprint. This is the part where now you're working for yourself, right? Now you're probably thinking, hey, I work for myself, how hard can it be? You're a business owner first, you're a nomad second, right? As much as you want to say, I run my business, I do my own thing, as a US citizen, you are still obligated by whatever the IRS says, right? So many people think like, hey, it covers all my income, so my business is tax-free. No, right? It only applies to income, not business profits. So be very aware of that stuff. Business income is taxable everywhere, right? So if my consulting firm is everywhere, then no matter where you are, even if you're inside a shelter in a bomb shelter, you're still taxed, okay? So this is your simple matrix, depending on what type of business you're running, right? So if I'm a sole proprietor, I have the highest tax rate, right? LLC, you're flexible, but you're gonna pay that self-employment tax, right? If you're an S Corp, C Corp, you have all kinds of requirements for reporting, right? And they still have to report every quarterly as well, right? So that's something that you wanna be aware of. Most nomads just go in and be like, I'm a sole proprietor, you know, I just got my thing, I'm traveling, I'm having fun. They wanna test the waters, they wanna see, hey, can I do this, right? I'm sure you've read the stories where they're just like, they've gone out for 6 months, it was hard, my business didn't work, it failed, didn't make any money, came back home with mom and dad, and now I work at McDonald's again, you know? So your tax obligations, again, based off of whatever structure you pick. As an LLC owner, you have self-tax obligations, right? And these are quarterly taxed, right? And S Corps, you have to run payroll, right? Who's ever run payroll here? It's not fun, right? You're gonna have to hire ADP or something, or some other international company to help you with that, but you have to pay that bill to run the tax, to run your stuff, and then they will report all that to the IRS. Fun stuff, right? And then all founders, basically, again, if there's anything to take away from this, you're taxed wherever you go. Everywhere. So, all right, don't pierce this veil. Don't do it. I know you want to, but don't, okay? Because this will get you into so much trouble. The reason why that wall right there exists is because many people think like, hey, I made a lot of money, we did all this stuff, it's gonna go to my personal account, I deserve it, right? Don't do that. Because the second you do that, any person can sue you and then take everything you have. And you're gonna turn around and be like, but I'm an S Corp, they can't sue me. No, as soon as you put it into your personal account, everything is fair play. So that's why everything you do has to go into a business account, and then from a business account, you are paid as an employee, and then that money goes into your personal account, right? That's how it's done. But if you take it and go straight to your personal account, well, you're screwed. So, any questions on that? All right, bookkeeping is your friend. It's also your GPS, right? Whether you use QuickBooks, whether you use a simple Excel sheet, you know, whatever you want, just track everything, right? I've seen people now just take pictures of stuff, they go to ChatGPT, hey, organize this, put this into a category, and then it gets put into Excel, and then Excel goes into QuickBooks, and then they're done, right? And from there, you can reconcile everything with your CPA, and then after that, you're good to go, right? A lot of people do this at the end of every month, just so they can keep track of stuff, right? Rules of engagement for global clients, right? Make sure your contracts are solid. Make sure you need to specify what currencies you're going to be using, and set very rigid terms, right? And that, if anybody's ever been to the UK or Europe, you're going to deal with a lot of that tax issues, right? And your footprint. Always remember, every time you are in another country, a local community, you are creating all kinds of footprints. And the longer you are there, the more tax obligations you have. So what is the number of days that you want to pay attention to? It's 183. Right? 183 days is when you have to start getting worried. Right? Because once that starts to happen, your tax obligations start to increase. So this is what your pipeline starts to look like, right? If anything tonight, go open a Stripe account if you don't have one, right? Just get it ready. A Wise account will be helpful as well, and just get used to having it on hand, right? Make sure you have dedicated business accounts going. You will need to have registered business paperwork, so when you go to the bank, they're gonna ask you, hey, do you have this registered? If so, we need your information. and then they will check it out, right? And then from there, that goes into your personal account. That's how you get paid, right? So if anybody ever tells you, hey, I just directly pay myself, just know they're probably in a lot of trouble and they have not told you yet. So, all right. So again, we're going back to triggering foreign taxes, right? Local clients, right? As you start to travel, you're probably going to pick up business. You're going to think like, man, I'm doing great. I just did business over here in Egypt. I'm having fun. I'm over in Cape Town doing this. As you start to create these digital footprints, realize your tax obligations increase tremendously, right? And the longer you stay in different places, yes, it starts to go up. So I don't want to make it sound like this is bad, right? Like traveling the world is amazing. Like always, like go out and do it. But just use the tools that are given to you, right? Have a good tech stack so it keeps track for you, you know? And again, when to hire a specialist, right? If you realize like, man, this is just too much on my own, like it's so expensive to hire a CPA, it's better to hire that CPA in the beginning than to go back and be like, I screwed up, I need a CPA, and now I'm in a lot of trouble with the IRS, right? And like I say, like test the waters here first. So here's what I've always said. Who here has done the weekend day trip? Where you go out to a different place. Texas is big enough to go find another city, go to another city, and go for a weekend. See if you can launch a business and get 5 clients. If you can do that, maybe you're ready to be a nomad. Right? Because I've seen people like, no, I'm just going to go to Bali, I'm going to grind it out, I'm going to make it happen. They come back with their tail between legs, and they're poor as dirt, and they have no idea what they're doing, and now they got to stay with mom and dad. Right? So, your survival kit. Entity vehicle that you're going to pick. Are you an LLC or an S Corp, sole proprietor, right? Make sure that's all taken care of. Banking, strictly separated. Make sure you have your business accounts, your personal accounts set up, all that stuff. Go set up your Stripe account, go set up your Waze account, and get everything going. I've met many people who just put on mastermind groups around the world, right? They will basically come to the US, they'll be here, they'll set everything up, people pay them here, and then they fly out to another country, they run the mastermind group, and they have fun, and then they come back to the US. Any questions about that? Because it sounds simple, right? You're thinking like, I got paid, I'm in the US, I'm good, right? And you might run your mastermind group for 1 week, right? So, any questions on that? Or anything you think you should be aware of? Yeah.
Well, what if you only have clients in the US?
Okay.
And you're doing all this, I mean, I know if you're working in Bali or Thailand, it's 12 hours ahead right now. So that'll be 7 a.m. right now. So, I mean, I know those hours are insane, but
right.
Let's just say you only have US clients.
Okay. Are you paying anybody to clean your house? Are you paying anybody are you paying membership at a gym? Are you paying for co-working space? What are you doing in Bali then?
Are you talking about in Bali?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you are, right? Like you're creating these digital footprints, right?
Shit, okay.
So if you're paying somebody to clean your house,
maybe not the cleaning house stuff, but it could just be cash, right?
okay, sure.
No, right?
Yeah, you can try. Yeah, I mean they're gonna ask you like, hey, you took out money to do this. Why did you take out cash? And it was to pay the housekeeper. Do you have a receipt? Right? And like, hey, you have a gym membership here. Like, it starts to create footprints, right? And you start to realize like, hey, but I'm making all my money here, but I live here. It's like, yeah, but you're doing geo-arbitrage, right? And that's a thing, and they track that, right? So, but I bring that up because a lot of people do think like, hey, I make my money here. I'm just going out and I'm just gonna have fun, right? And I'm gonna come back and that's it. I should be good, right? Yeah, you know. Keep track of everything, right? Cloud bookkeeping is a thing. Take advantage of it, right? And reconcile monthly. Don't wait 6 months or 4 months and be like, okay, I gotta get this done. I've been traveling too much, you know. And remember, if you are going to be a LLC or sole proprietor, self-tax every four months, right? And daily tracking, you know, just make it a habit. All right, quiz time. Let's see. What is the main advantage of forming an LLC for nomad founders?
Hit speed.
Anybody else? It's not deep? Alright, everybody agree with that? Alright, yeah, there you go, perfect. Alright, on to section 6, tools and AI stacks.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. We
Sure,
have to
sure.
run, we have to
Yeah,
run
yeah,
to dinner,
okay.
but do you do this often?
So this is every third Monday.
Every third Monday?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, every
cool.
third Monday, so next month we're covering visa, travel logistics.
Oh, cool,
Yeah,
sweet.
So yeah,
Bummed that we're gonna miss the rest of this, but
Thank you so
I
much.
Yeah,
appreciate
absolutely.
your time so much. Nice to meet you guys.
Yep.
Thank you, have a
Yeah.
great night.
You too.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Alright, so your tools are your normal safety net, right? So whatever you have in your pockets right there, and your computer with your advisors, that's what's gonna help you, right, in the long run. So you wanna create your foundation, right, and that's gonna go into your operation workflows. You may use Make, you may use Zapier, you may set something up, right? And you're gonna have an AI system that's gonna keep track of this for you. Hey, by the way, you need to report this, do you have anything, right?
If you're not good with systems though, I'm not really intertwined with systems.
Right?
What's like I'm on ChatGPT right now, I mean that's obviously the most basic. I mean I have Perplexity and I have Claude.
Okay, are you paying for all those?
My friend is pretty high up in Perplexity, so he gave me a code and I'm not paying for Claude, so no, I'm not paying for anything.
Okay.
But literally, is it that simple that it's that hard? Is all you need to do is just tell it and it will remember all of that? Is that
No.
it? No.
Yeah, it doesn't do that.
Okay.
What are you trying to get it to remember?
Well, I mean, you're saying for all the bookkeeping and just like everything. I'm just not a systems dude.
Oh, it needs,
Okay.
AI needs context, so eventually,
Prompt it really well or something.
if you have a really long conversation at some point, it's gonna start getting slow and you're gonna start a new conversation.
Right.
It's gonna
Yep,
need
that's happening.
different context.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you paying for ChatGPT? Okay. Because I was gonna say, if you have access to the store, there are AI agents you can use.
Okay.
Now, again, if you want to get around that, then you can just go into make.com or Zapier, create a workflow that just activates every, let's say, end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And it just checks in with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it'll store all of that.
It'll say, hey, I need you to give me this, and you may upload all your photos, right? And then from there, it will read the photos, go through all that stuff, and then go take care of it.
How imperative is it to use AI rather than just keeping track of it yourself?
Well, remember, we've only had AI for 2 years, and people have been doing this forever, right? You know, so before AI, people just sat down with QuickBooks and just filled out everything, the
Mhm.
forms, and that was it,
There it
right?
is.
So, but the point is just being disciplined to sit down and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
tough. So tough.
But the thing is, QuickBooks has the app, right, which has the photo feature, right? Just take a picture of your receipt, upload it, and then it organizes it for you, right? So your banking baseline right here, basically redundancy is mandatory, right? So make sure that if your bank freezes your card abroad, you have a backup, right? And always talk to them, let them know like, hey, this is what's going on, I'll be traveling through this region for the next 6-7 months, so that way they're aware, right? But again, have a backup just in case. Again, this goes back to the multi-currency routing arsenal, and you will need to basically have at least Wise, if you're going to be doing that, and Revolut if you want to go that far. But again, the bottom one is only if you're running a marketplace, right? If you're not going to be running a marketplace, Wise and Revolut, it's probably best just to have those on hand, you know. Even if you're making transactions throughout different locations, Wise is going to be your best bet just because they have such low fees. Alright, so here's what a typical workflow looks like for inbound cash, right? I have a client, I run a store, I might use Stripe for recurring payments, right? PayPal is just accepted everywhere. Wise, you're going to have client payments and direct transfers that you can use. And again, for your Shopify or your Etsy, you might use Payoneer to handle all that stuff for you. And then that's going to get converted to your nomad currency, which goes into whatever place you're going to be. Again, making sure you have the right rail platform that you want to use is so key. Everyone has PayPal. You know what surprises me about PayPal is that it takes credit cards, right? You know how many times people tell me like, oh no, I don't use PayPal, it doesn't take credit cards, do you have a Venmo? I'm like, no, PayPal takes credit cards, like go here, it's right here, right? They're charging hard for fees, but yes. And then your analytics and budgeting, right? So this is a typical, budget of what it should look like for you, right? Everything should sort of be automated in terms of how you do your budgeting, but your cash flow should sort of look something like that, personal and business, right? Geographic output, right? Like if I'm in Japan and this is what my business is producing versus what I'm making on my personal level, that might be an example, right? Over in the EU, I might be doing 30% business, UK might be doing 25% business, right? Cash flow is super important because as they always say in accounting, cash flow is like the blood of a company. So audit-proofing yourself. Track everything, right? Track income by source, right? I might run a Discord server where I make 5,000 a week. I might run a Shopify store over here where I have, digital products that I sell, and I might sell consulting services. You want to track each one by the source that comes from, right? And then that gets put into a cloud system, that gets synced to your CPA. They'll just message you when they have questions. All right, so this is the part right there that your visa starts to get a little questionable, right? So you're going to need a visa tracker to let you know when you need to leave the country, right? And when you're getting near your days out of the country, right? And how many times you can go back in. Why do people like Costa Rica so much? Why do people like Panama so much?
Cheap.
Cheap? Yes, what else?
I mean, the Airbnbs actually aren't cheap though, but.
Yes. What else?
Beaches.
Okay.
Maybe they allow you to stay a prolonged period of time without doing the fees?
Yeah, maybe it's easy to renew it.
Yeah.
Okay. What is it called if I walk out and I walk back in?
Ooh.
Oh, there's a word for that.
It's a visa run.
Visa run, yeah.
Right, what does that do then? If I walk out of Costa Rica and I'm just at a bar and I walk back into Costa Rica and I go to my Airbnb, what happens to my visa? It gets renewed.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
Automatic renewal.
Damn.
Right?
Oh, you don't have to.
You're not doing it, right? Why do you think people love Costa Rica? Right? There are other countries that do that, right? But you have to be aware of these things. So you're doing a visa run. So now you're probably wondering, man, I can just keep doing that forever, right? And now you gotta watch out for your visa extension, right? Because you might be like, hey, you've done a visa run for the past, 9 months. What's going on here, right? And you're like, bro, I just renewed my visa. What are you talking about, right? So yes, overstaying can also cause a country ban, right? So just keep track of these kinds of things, and don't take advantage of it if you can help yourself, right? All right, so this is the part right here where AI can start to help you with some stuff, right? It can be great at summarizing visa rules. Hey, I want to cover these countries in the next 8 months. Help me plan out my visa requirements and my stay limits, right? Organize documents. Get all your visa documents together. Get all your bank documents together. Get all my health insurance documents, everything I'm going to need. Locations, hospitals, pharmacies, things like that, right? Build out a checklist. When I come into each country, tell me everything I need to do to get set up, right? That's great for all those things. What it's not great at is it cannot replace the actual legal advice, right? It cannot interpret tax treaties between countries, right? Be careful with that. And it cannot guarantee compliance. How many times have I seen where people are just like, but it told me I can do that. Like, it literally told me I can do that. Did you tell it to tell you that? So, and it can never ever predict a visa outcome. So the one thing about AI is it doesn't care about your situation and it doesn't care about the consequences you run into, right? So this is a simple AI stack that I put together of Notion, Zapier, Hopper AI, Wise, Otter AI, right? If there's anything to take, Notion is probably such a great thing to learn, right?
Notion.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you know how to build dashboards in Notion?
Usually I use templates, so
Okay.
I haven't done it myself.
So, dashboards in Notion, you can sell those for a lot of money, right?
People will pay for them.
People pay for feed picks. What are you talking about? Alright? There's marketplaces. I've gone to Notion Marketplace, and the things people sell there is so crazy, right? I've seen dashboards that track all kinds of information, right? And they sell for like $20,000, $30,000, you know? There's other templates I've seen where they're just like, it's $5,000 for this template, you know? And then you look at the person's profile and it's like $200 an hour to hire this person, you know? Zapier, we all know Zapier, it's been around for a while. It's a great automation tool. I call Zapier the candy of automation because it's just so simple to sort of set up. Hopper AI helps you predict flight issues, hotel prices, things like that, right? And Wise, we've already gone over Wise many, many times. And I'm sure you've already heard Otter many, many times as well. So. But this is sort of a good way to be like, hey, I can create a Notion dashboard that keeps track of everything for me, right? So you can create a dashboard that says, hey, when I get here, I need you to track this for me, right? Make sure I'm doing my medicine routines, make sure I'm checking this with clients, and then you can also send out notices to co-working spaces for discounts for nomads, right? So right here, systems online, master diagnostics, right? It's basically a checklist of things we've covered. Make sure your banking system is set up. Multi-currency tools are activated, right? Payment rails are ready to go for any processing, right? Budgeting systems are up and running, and your tax tracking is organized, and your visa tracking is active. Again, you could literally build a dashboard, and you're probably thinking, that's a great idea. It's okay, it's already been built. It's literally already been built, right? AI tool integration into that dashboard, now you can just talk right from your phone, right? There we go. Which of the following best presents the core purpose of an AI-powered workflow for digital nomads?
Probably A.
A? Alright, all math, okay. Anybody else? Is it A too? Alright. Because before AI, remember, that's a lot of decision making you have to go through. Alright, so we are on to the last section right here. So the Nomad Readiness Roadmap, right? This is basically what it's going to look like for you every single time you take off. It's never going to change, right? You have your pre-departure list of things you need to take care of. Things you need to take care of once you get there. And then as you keep traveling, all the other stuff you have to keep track of, right? It's going to reduce your risks, it's going to increase your confidence, and you're going to realize having a system in place is what makes being a nomad so awesome, right? So once you confirm your income type, right? Are you a remote employee? Do you work for a business? Are you a founder? Do you just do gig work and pick up side jobs here and there? You start to realize this is everything required underneath that, right? I've met many people who just do gig work, right? They love it, right? They just go to a country, they hop on Freelancer or Upwork, they pick up like 10 jobs a week, and make their money, right? I've met other people that they just do bartending. As soon as they get to another country, they apply at bars, they just do bartending, and that pays their bills, right? But it's different every single time. But once you start to get used to it, it becomes so routine to your life that you're just like, yeah, I know what to do, you know, and they're 22 years old, you know. Step 2, build your tax plan. If you're a US citizen, you are paying taxes, whether you like it or not, right? Make sure you know what your obligations are so you can travel without the fear of that. And just estimate it, right? Again, state residency review, we're not part of that, so you're fine, right? But day tracking, that's your solid base, and that's what your life will start to look like, right? And step 3, choose what visa path you plan to go on, right? Again, for most people I say start off on a tourist visa, go, check it out, see what you think, right? Do your homework. If you think you want to stay and you want to work there, get a nomad visa, apply. Remember, there are minimum requirements, which means you have to be making a minimum, for most countries, what, 25 to 3,500 a month?
USD?
Yeah, right. And
Is
then.
that with revenue, sorry, is that with revenue or is that just pure profit?
That's revenue. Right. And if you think this is a place you want to stay, that's where it goes into residency, right? The last one. So that's where you're just like, I really like it here. I think I could find a life here, and then you can apply, right? And that's where you realize like having that resilient money stack set up for you starts to save you in the long run, right? Everything you see there just becomes your stack that you're going to use everywhere you go, right? And then you activate your tracking system. All this becomes routine once you set up either a Zapier system or a Notion dashboard. And then at that point, you go home and you just click a button and it runs through your stuff. You can even have Zapier go into a folder that you pick. There's all my receipts. It checks everything, uploads it, runs it. Your QuickBooks is done, right? And then your country decision framework. This is the part that says, hey, what countries are really helpful for me, and what countries do I want to avoid, right? Some countries have limits, right? And they're very strict on those limits. And you say, hey, thank you for coming. I appreciate your business. We'll see you in 2 years. You know. And then will I trigger tax residency, right? What is the days for tax residency? 180. Okay. And how will I get paid there? And what are the banking limitations, right? You may get there and you're just like, well, banks are open Monday and Tuesdays, appointment open. Great, fine.
What if you have direct deposit? Does that not work?
No, I'm saying this more as like a freelancer
Okay.
gig worker, right?
Okay, so
yeah.
if you were to pick up like a construction job there, or something like, just example, okay.
Yeah. Whereas like each bank system, right? But if you're talking from like, I work for a US employer, I'm here as a remote worker, that's different. Okay. Right. And then again, your 30 days are always crucial, right? So day 1, confirm your visa rules, log entry dates, right? Test your banking, payment access, make sure everything works and it doesn't get frozen. On day 15, update your day tracker. Hey, here's everything that got done, right? By day 30, set your reminders for when you need to leave. So don't extend it unless you're in Costa Rica, then just go walk to a bar and come back and you're good. And then intervention thresholds, right? When you need help, they're right there when you need them. And that basically means that your financial planner is going to be their international attorney. And make sure you set all this up before you take off, right? A single consultation will save you in the long run. So your checklist for this right here is make sure you have a tax plan ready. Make sure your legal status is clear and your banking system is set up. Your income plan is stable, right? I can't say that is safe for gig workers or freelancers, but if you're working for a company, you're fine, right? But track everything and use AI tools, right? So, last quiz.
All of it. Yeah, I guess C.
Coffee's important.
C, but
Probably C.
yeah, B, C.
I mean, I need to know how many nomads live there. Like, otherwise, what am I doing there?
Where's the coolest place you've gone?
The coolest place I've been to is Bangkok.
Bangkok? Oh, what about Phuket?
Yes.
Oh.
So the thing about Bangkok, I don't know if you know this, is it takes them like 2 hours to launch a business there.
Takes 2 hours?
Yeah, because the paperwork is so fast.
Wow.
Right.
Wow, that's
So you could go in there and just like launch a business, and then all of a sudden you have everything up and running. You launch your website, you do that, and now you can start taking money.
Big for nomads there, right?
Oh yeah, like you go to Bangkok and there's so many nomad communities there,
Wow.
right? And it's like a hustle and bustle city of just like activity.
Big place.
You know, so. But I do need to know the coffee. Like if it's too much, I can't go.
I mean, it's gonna be like, what, 50 cents though? Seriously, probably.
Yeah, probably,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, I always put this out there, so if you want to work with me, this is basically what I do, right? I help you get to that point, because building a system is not easy for some people. And building dashboards, I will tell you, is big business right now. In fact, I'm working with like 5 people who had no idea building dashboards was a thing. So did you know they built a dashboard in Notion to track the Artemis trip using public data? Did you know that?
Track what?
The Artemis trip.
Oh, yeah.
And it basically tracked like where they were, the speed they were going, like everything that's happening, like, and it was all just in this really cool dashboard, right? And I'm just like, this is so cool. How much would you pay for something like that, right? Now to you, you're probably thinking, why would I pay for that? It's right there, right? Those dashboards, again, are worth a lot of money to businesses. Yeah. But yeah, so these are the books I always recommend for this kind of lifestyle, right? So like The Art of Nonconformity, The 4-Hour Work Week. If you've never read The 4-Hour Work Week, go read that book.
Great book.
Right? That right there was everything for a nomad lifestyle,
Yeah.
right? Remote Work, Make Time, Atomic Habits, right?
Great book as well. Love Atomic Habits.
You know, and then you have Global Thinking, Culture Map, Factfulness. That is an amazing book. I don't know if you know Factfulness. Bill Gates actually gave a copy to every graduating student at a university one year because it was so good. Like, it's such a good book to read, right? And then again, business books right there, the $100 Startup, The Company of One, The Lean Startup, right? The famous ones. So, but yes, I have a LinkedIn page that basically keeps track of digital nomad news. So appreciate if you follow. And then I have a Discord that I've set up. If you're interested in joining, you can scan this.
Nice.
So that one right there, check it out, see what you think, and give feedback, right? I'm still messing with some stuff. I still need to set up bots for it. So
Yeah.
yeah. And feedback. Did this put you to sleep or did this help you? My phone's about to die. Jeez. Anyways, if you have more questions, that's how you can book me. But I will also have my LinkedIn at the end. So was this helpful? Was this not helpful? Was it too much? Was it overwhelming? Was it like, I don't get nomad, this is too big?
It's eye-opening. You think it's so easy. It's
Yeah.
not.
No.
It's not. No one, like, you think you just go and do it. I mean, it's good. Definitely very informative to know. I mean, it's tough, but
It is.
if you want it that bad, you can figure it out.
I will tell you, like, the people I pay attention to are the ones that are non-US citizens, so their tax obligations are almost non-existent, right? I meet so many from, like, the UK, from Dubai, right, from, like, Costa Rica. They don't have tax obligations, right? So to them, like, the world is very different, you know? So this is why I meet so many people, like, in Dubai. There's so many people from Europe in Dubai, right? There's so many Americans in Dubai. And the difference is, like, the people over there making 10K a month is like, oh bro, you must be like struggling. Right?
In Dubai?
In Dubai, right?
Yeah.
And
That's funny.
Wow.
and because most people in Dubai, they're all making 6 figures a month, right?
Yeah.
And it's a
Making 6 figures a month?
Yes.
It's that oil money. Probably that oil money.
High cost of living.
So there was a guy that I followed, his name is William Brown. He already made his millions, right? He already cashed out. And he told a story where in his building, everyone there makes a minimum of 5 figures a month, right? This lady he met having breakfast, he's like, hey, so what do you do? You know, she's like, I teach this, right? And she told him she makes on average 17K a month. Okay?
Awesome.
She was in her 70s.
Oh, wow. Damn.
What is she doing that makes so much money?
Are you gonna answer that?
I am gonna, but I need to hear from you first.
What is she doing?
What is she doing that she's making that much a month? That she's in her 70s, she's able to do that.
She must have some, I was gonna say online courses, or like, she's like consulting, like, I don't know, some type of expensive consultant.
Okay, she is a consultant. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. I know the first thing that probably came to your mind is it's tech, right? It's not tech. Anything else? I'll give you 2 more tries and I'll tell you what she does.
She's a life coach.
She's not a life coach.
She sells insurance.
That's good. She teaches people how to crochet.
Oh shit. In
Wow.
Dubai? They don't.
No, she teaches around the world.
Oh, jeez.
She has a YouTube channel, and that YouTube channel brings clients to her that want one-on-one.
She's one of those like the top 1%, top of the top.
But again,
of her skill.
he also meets other people who teach piano lessons around the world, and they make 6 figures, right? So that's why I teach what I teach, because people forget, like, I got a master's degree and I know how to code in 5 different languages and I can build this and I can do that. I'm like, yeah, bro, but you're still broke. You know, like, you're still broke. Like, I don't care, right? Like, show me the money and then I'll tell you what you're doing, right? And that's why when you go to Dubai or you go to Sydney or you go to, like, you know, Hong Kong or any of these places, you meet the people who are making 6 figures a month. And when you see what they do, you're just like, how are you doing that, right? Like I said before, there are guys who run Discord servers every night, and they have thousands of people in their Discord server, and they're making thousands of dollars every night.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I mean, if they're providing value to people and providing community,
Okay?
you know, it makes sense. Like, there's Twitch streamers that just provide parasocial relationships, and if people have a good time with the community and maybe they're providing something, maybe a Patreon or something.
Right,
You know?
exactly. So I always tell people, like, have social media, have a Patreon set up, right? Do you know that tool, Buy Me a Cup of Coffee? Do you know that one?
Yeah.
It's a tool that basically says, if you like what you saw, buy me a cup of coffee. And when you go to the tool, it just says $1, $2, right? And over time, it builds up, right? So people do that and just like, hey, if you enjoyed my video, buy me a cup of coffee, right? So if 1,000 people watch my video, I made 1,000, right? That's the theory behind it, right? But again, you know, I keep track of all kinds of ways people make money today, and it is insane. That's why I'm just like, why would you want to work a 9 to 5? Like, it's so, why would you do that, you know?
Stability, though. People want that. They don't want to think about where their next money. Yeah. Also, you get benefits, health. Like, I see it. Like, if you're like a nomad, like, do you need this? Also kind of separate. If you're going to a foreign entity, or not, sorry, a foreign country,
Yeah.
do you need health insurance in order to go there?
So let me tell you, Safety Wing is like $35 a month.
Safety wing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that one too.
It's like, what is it, like PPO, HMO?
It's health insurance for nomads,
Okay.
right?
Safety wing.
Safety Wing basically just, for $35 a month, you can go into another country and get everything you need done.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there's other countries have better insurance
I
than
know
we
that.
have here,
I know
which
that.
is crazy.
So when you said all that stuff right there, to me I'm just like, the world doesn't think it like that. The world does not think like that system. Because of how much we've messed up our healthcare system in America,
So bad.
that's why you say stuff like that. But when you go to other countries, they're just like, you just go to the hospital and that's it. Like, why are you saying that, right? Safety Wing basically operates under a model of you get care, we provide the care, and you pay us monthly, and you're done, right? The medical tourism industry is over in Thailand, right? Like, you go over there, and the hospitals are like resorts,
Yeah.
you know,
It's crazy.
for half the price, you know. But again, it goes back to, like, you could run a Shopify store, which people are doing, that AI goes in and generates tons of stuff, right? And you just sell shit all day long, right? And guess what? You can have 20 Shopify stores, and people do that, right? Just this past week, I saw a video that just blew my mind of this guy who set up all these agents just working all day long, running Etsy stores and Shopify stores and Amazon stores, and that's all they're doing. And they're not, and there's this guy that tells them, keep working, don't stop.
These are AI agents, not a real person.
That all AI, and they make so much money. There was one store they were running that just sold candles, and they were making like 3 G's a week. So, but there was another store they launched where they're selling supplements, right? And let me tell you, these agents operate on their own because they have a boss that tells them what to do, right? So the agents go in, they create the branding, the names, the style, everything, and they're just marketing and making ads and doing all, and they're just doing it 24/7.
Yeah, and then they have the AI agent manager. I've seen videos where they're like, yeah, you give it a specific role, like
Yeah.
it's an employee basically.
Yeah, and exactly,
It
right?
makes the decisions.
It makes the
As
decisions.
long as you have guardrails for it and you've told it what it needs to do. And
So there was one somebody showed me where like every certain day the project manager pulls aside certain agents and they do a performance review. It's just
Sounds great.
and he goes back and says, you didn't meet your numbers this week, so we're not gonna give you this. Right. And I was like, does it work? He's like, they work harder now, you know?
Have you heard, there's a story on Reddit that I find hilarious. There's a guy that had his AI bot or AI agent set up, and basically it was an appointment setter, right? So it's like, oh, I don't want to have to call the dentist or call the doctor or whatever.
Yeah.
So his AI agent calls whatever the dentist to make an appointment. There's AI on the other line, and they just have a conversation for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it costs like $300 in credits. Because there's nothing telling him to stop under your sign. Funny world we live in.
Okay, so did you see the story on Reddit of the guy who launched an open claw vending machine?
No.
Yeah, so that really happened. So he basically connected an open claw, and okay, I cannot believe this is a real thing. So the machine, the open claw is watching how many people are in front of the machine, right? So if there's a long line, the open claw goes in and changes the pricing, because there's high demand, right? So you may go in at 8 o'clock in the morning and everybody wants a breakfast item, right? So the prices go up. So then you may go like around 10 o'clock and there's no line, and now you're paying like half the price for that same item, right? And it's just tracking everything. And people were commenting like, what world are we living in now? Where like everything is run by AI and all these things are happening, right? But it's true, right? Like all these kinds of things that people are launching,
Yeah, I have a question about visas, because you're talking about how like most visas, tourist visas, you can't work on legally. But
Yeah.
what about like working holiday visa? Are you familiar with those?
Yes.
Because I met somebody in Japan who was from Spain, and she was staying in Japan for a year. She was doing this thing where she just worked at the hospital part-time, and her expenses were so low, and she had some money saved up, and she was just like living off of that.
So where is she from again?
It's in Spain.
She was from Spain, but it might have been another. She was living in Spain. I don't know if she was a citizen there. She was from another Spanish-speaking country.
So everything I teach is from a U.S. perspective,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if she's not a U.S. citizen, then her tax obligations and all that stuff are different, right?
Yeah.
Whatever treaty between Spain and that Japan has is different, right? Like the U.S.
Yeah.
just has requirements that just say like if you go on any visa outside the U.S., you cannot make money doing that kind of stuff, right?
Mhm.
And then that's just the agreement between us and whatever country we go
Yeah.
to, right? So if she is from Spain and she's doing that, Spain has a different probably requirement on the visa holiday tax.
Yeah.
But if she's making low money, then she's probably making money somewhere else,
Yeah, maybe.
Because I have met nomads that are OnlyFans models, and they travel all around the world, right? Like they make so much money that their whole life is content creation, right? Because they meet their clients everywhere around the world, right?
Yeah, I saw some videos where the guy was interviewing people in Bali. He's like, what do you do? And then one of the people was like OnlyFans manager or something.
Yeah.
I did that for a little. Shit sucks.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, you go to Miami, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Those agencies are everywhere.
If I want to go to Colombia, work remote,
Yeah?
I pay taxes here and there.
Yes. But wait, are you gonna be there for more than 183 days?
Yeah. Let's just say hypothetically 6 months. I want to be there.
Okay.
Digital nomad visa or whatever visa they have for that. That's not a tourist.
Yeah.
Taxes here 15.3.
Yeah.
How much there?
For Colombia, you're looking anywhere between probably 20%, 50%.
So like 30 to 35% off the rip.
Probably, but like I would say like if you're gonna go, make sure you line up with like when a new tax season starts, right?
Got it.
And just do your research on that part and just be like, hey, I want to come in, but like when's the best time to come in? Right?
What about for 82 days?
If it's under 90 days, right? Like your windows are between 90, 180, and like 160, right?
Yep.
If it's under 90, you shouldn't have too much of a tax obligation, right?
Okay.
As long as you're not like hiring locals to do
Yeah,
like all
yeah.
kinds of stuff, and, you know, you're building a house or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you should be okay under 90 days.
Got it.
But again, you can also do a visa run, right? Like you can just go out, come back in.
Funny.
So,
That's funny.
but anyways, yeah, next week I'll be going over, oh man, I forgot what I was gonna cover next week. But yeah, I'll be doing solopreneurship next Tuesday. So that's the one, like I said, that's the one that everybody goes to, because I cover a lot of AI tools in that one. Oh, that's right, we're doing content creation.
This is next week?
This is next week on Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Oh, okay, I
Yeah,
thought it
yeah.
was once a month.
No, so next week is solopreneurship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so again, that's that minus travel. Right. So we're gonna be covering like content creation for solopreneurs, using automated systems.
Need that.
So,
Need systems.
yeah, I mean, go learn Notion, go learn dashboard building.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you. See ya.
Next week, Tuesday.
Tuesday,
what,
6 p.m. Top floor.
Do you need to register for this? Or is this on your?
Yeah, it should be on the calendar for Capital Factory.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks.
you. So where do you plan on traveling?
Well, I was looking into Japan again, because
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I'm learning the language.
Alright.
So I was thinking Fukuoka, Japan.
Yeah.
See if it's a cheaper cost of living than Kyoto, and there's other nomads there and a lot of like language meetups.
Yeah, there are.
But yeah, it's interesting what you're saying about like working and stuff on tourist visas, because I was literally, I'm basically been trying to find like some online side hustles, just so we
So
make like
what
some
are your
money.
what are your skills?
My skills?
Yeah.
So I work in tech,
Okay.
customer support.
Okay.
I'm also learning data analysis, so like SQL
Okay.
and Power BI.
Alright.
And then, I also am a music producer, so I've been doing that like 8 years on and off.
Right, what kind of music producer?
Like I've mixed songs for people before, I recorded their songs before, that's more on the engineering side, but I also
Okay.
have created music.
Have you dropped an album?
I dropped a few songs on Spotify.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't made much music this year. I host a music meetup here actually. We'll be in here on Thursday. Awesome
Okay,
Producer
okay,
Alliance,
okay,
yeah.
alright.
But yeah, because I've even thought about like doing online lessons or something for music production.
Okay, why don't you?
I've done it.
So
I've done like some sessions. I haven't done any like big sessions.
But how hard is it to make a course now?
It's doable. I have a friend that made a course
Okay.
about house music production in Ableton.
Alright, I just need to clean up house real quick, but we can talk out here because I can show you something.
Okay, sure. Oh yeah, I'm gonna grab a parking pass.
Alright. So then, if you were to make a course, how would you put it? I got my book. Okay. courses today literally take 30 minutes, right? AI has basically just speed run that entire process, right? And now repurposing content has never been easy, right? Like cooking, all that stuff. There are people that are teenagers that make 6 figures a month just repurposing content, right? AI can do that. So let's say I watch all these videos on like how to save up for retirement, right? I can go have AI watch those videos, turn that into a course, and now I can have it clip all of the stuff and go generate new video images to sell for that course. Right. So then I can go and be like, okay, I want you to watch all these videos. Now what I want you to do is make reports on these videos, and I want you to upload them to Shopify, and then price them whatever the commission price it at, and then go run an ad on them. Right? You can do that, right? Did you have to do anything? No, But anyways, if you wanna come out next week, it's on Tuesday, we can talk for 6 p.m. Yeah, we'll do content creation, the class I have everyone signed up for right now, is AI agents for your business, and that's,
Okay.
but
We're gonna do the digital nomad again?
no, that's what we're doing.
Oh, so, yeah, so, okay. So you all want this?
I run 2 events a week.
Okay. So how long have you been in Boston?
So I lived there a long time, like since 2000.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But,
So you did a lot of travel?
yeah, I've lived all over, but again, I really don't want to live where I was 15 hours, everyone agreed with me, right?
Yeah.
So all I did was just kind of move that, and I think another firm probably $1 million business, updated with AI, and said, I should probably run a class on this. So every student who's taken my class has just been like, there's no reason you can't make $1 million a day. And I said, yeah, just put that in the business. Because I had a friend send me a video, that's what I told you, that the guy who runs this little thing, that looks like a video game. And it's literally agents just all working in this little,
Yeah, I believe it.
so.
Yeah.
But anyhow, yeah, thanks for coming out.
Yeah. All right, well, have a good night.
You too.
Yeah.
I think.
las emociones, pensando pero poco en las palabras, tan definitiva, tu sonrisa que a mí mismo te abrió tu paraíso. Hay una cosa que yo no te he dicho aún, que mis problemas sabes que se llaman tú. Solo por eso tú me ves hacerme el duro, para sentirme un poquito más seguro. Y si no quieres ni decir en qué he fallado, recuerda que también a ti te